So, नमस्कार, मैं प्रीतम कश्यप कृषि जागरण में आपका स्वागत करता हूं. And as we know, today we are celebrating the 99th birth anniversary of uh, father of white revolution, Dr. Varghese Kurian. So we know the contribution how he made in the post-independence India when we were facing the shortage of milk in a seasonal supply due to fluctuation. To solve this issue, Kurian came up with a cooperative society, Amul, which has changed the Indian almost we can say the dairy scheme. So before going and moving ahead, just let's look a glimpse how it has changed the Indian perspective of dairy milks. So 1 minute. Yeah. So coming to
मेरो गाम काठा पाड़े चा दूध की नदियां बाहे चा कोयल टोको गाए मारे घर अंगना ना भूलो ना रे मारे घर अंगना ना भूलो ना मारे गाम की मक्खन रोटी लाए खुशियां छोटी छोटी खुश रह तेरा बेटा बेटी जैसे चमके हीरा मोती तेरे आंचल में तेरे चेहरे की ये लाली लाए मारे मन उजाली आंगन आंगन है खुशहाली मारे घर झांझर लक्ष्मी के बाजे मारे घर झांझर लक्ष्मी के बाजे
So this was one of the few startups which was started in the late 1980s, which has made India to change and think about mainly in the dairy sector. And today we are the largest producer of milk over the last 3 decades, accounting for 18.5% of global milk production. So isn't it that great thing what Korean did? And today on the 99th birth anniversary of Korean, we have Ranjit Mukund, who is the CEO and co-founder of Seplas Dairy, and Shashi Kumar, who is the CEO and co-founder of akshaykalpa. So, नमस्कार सर. सर स्वागत है आपका कृषि जागरण पर.
नमस्कार.
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 हाँ, sir, let me introduce about the company to you all. The akshaykalpa and Steplas have given rise to the farm-based entrepreneurs who were successful managing organic, sustainable rural dairy farm, each of which gives them earning of approximately rupees 70,000 each month, thus creating wealth in villages to empower this disempowered. So we can think what Amul did what back in 1980s and what now the following the track of Amul, what other dairy industries are doing. Now Akshaykalpa started in 2010 with 20 farmers and 18 liters of milk in Bangalore, and today Akshaykalpa farm and food supply more than 55,000 liters of organic milk to Bangalore resident from 580 dairy farms. A milk processing plant has been set up on a 24-acre and at a Kolihali in the Tuluk of Hassan. With Stepla's automatic technology, right from milking the cow to the chilling process are automated without the touch of a human hand. Stepla's MooPay FinTech cattle loan solution have further enabled Akshay Kalpa farmers to increase their farm size. The Akshay Kalpa Stepla's partnership have successfully demonstrated how technology improves productivity, quality, and enables premium market linkages. The partnership has set hundreds of small holders, farmers on the growth trajectory to becoming the prosperous dairy entrepreneurship. सर एक बार फिर से आपका स्वागत है कृषि जागरण पे आप लोग दोनों का.
थैंक यू.
थैंक यू.
तो जब हम बात करते हैं आज भारत में आत्मनिर्भर भारत होने की, जब प्रधानमंत्री हमारे कहते हैं वी शुड गो फॉर एन आत्मनिर्भर और सेल्फ रिलायंट भारत एंड इवन इन द डेयरी सेक्टर. सो माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू either of the panelists today is like how in India dairy production has helped the farmer to overcome in the time of pandemic, before pandemic or after pandemic. how it has overcome them to make them more self-reliant. So anyone?
Yeah, I'll let Sashi have a go at it first because he's the service provider and we are the technology provider. So Sashi, I'll let you have a go first.
I think one of the key aspects during pandemic, okay, has been especially players like us, where the market demand, okay, actually was quite high during pandemic, surprisingly, and we were able to support farmers even during pandemic. Also, prior to pandemic, I think the key, okay, has been how to produce a quality milk, how to make it available to consumers, okay, at the doorstep. Okay, the entire backend linkages, tracking, okay, management, uh, either prior to pandemic or post pandemic, I don't see much of a difference. But being technology driven operations actually has helped us substantially to manage, okay, the supply chain end to end in a very what you call optimal manner, even though we had substantial challenges on logistics, okay, during pandemic time. So Ranjit?
Yeah, so as Sashi said, dairy probably is one of the few industries where farmers, continue to get, market linkage despite the pandemic, right? Many other industries, things were shut down, people had to go back to the villages and all of that. But thanks to the fact that milk is an essential commodity, and thanks to the good support most of us got from the authorities, farmers continue to get the market linkage even at the peak of the lockdown and all of them. In fact, when you look at all the inter-district traffic, it's only either the ambulances or the milk tankers that were plying, right? Nothing else was plying. So to that extent, I'm not saying it was completely disruption free. There might be minor disruptions, but relative to other industries, dairy probably was very lucky to experience a lot of tailwind because of despite COVID, despite lockdown, because cow gives milk throughout, right? It doesn't worry about there's a lockdown, or it doesn't worry about there's a pandemic. And as long as there are service providers like akshaykalpa who are providing these last mile touch point with the farmer and handholding them, and as long as there are technology providers like us who are powering their operations with our technology, farmers, relatively speaking, were not that affected. And I hope we are able to further build on top of this momentum, even as we go past the pandemic and as we go into the next year.
So how the Stelpas has enabled rural entrepreneurship in the dairy farming to Akshakalpa? Can you enlighten us more about on that?
Yeah, so it's actually stellapps.
Okay, sorry, my
Stellapps, which is stellar applications. So what we have done, we've had Akshakalpa as a partner right from day one, 2010 to 2011. And when we started, we were focusing on providing technology on the farm side. But then we also started feeling that milk is not only about the farm. Farm is probably the heart of what we do. The farmer and the cow is at the heart of what we do. But the technology intervention has to be at the milk collection level, milk chilling level, and the farm management level. There are multiple facets to the technology. So we started taking a more supply chain view of dairy, and started using technologies to be able to remotely manage and remotely configure and remotely control the supply chain. Because by its very nature, dairy is very remote and dairy is very rural, right? You can't possibly be running behind every cow and every farmer all the time. Whereas technology can actually make that happen. Technology ensures that you're on a continuous monitoring mode. And thanks to the pandemic and thanks to all of this, people have started feeling that remote management, remote monitoring, and data-driven decision making is very critical. And we were able to leverage this for Akshakalpa as well, because they sell really super quality milk to the consumers, and they handhold the farmers on the other side. So without this tech part during COVID, it would not have been possible to run the operations disruption free. So technology with Internet of Things, monitoring, automation, end-to-end workflows has really helped manage all the difficulties that we encountered during COVID.
Yeah, I think we.
Yes, Sashi probably has a network connection. He'll probably connect back. Yeah, but we can continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming to like, what is the market scenario in the Indian dairy sector right now?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so if you look at the market on the consumption side, our consumption has been steadily increasing. If you look at several years ago, or maybe the per capita per head consumption was maybe less than 300 grams per capita. Right now, it has gone up above 400 grams per capita per day of consumption, but still, it is a fraction of what a Western economy consumes. Right, India is still a very big liquid milk consumption market, right? We see a big trend towards going towards value-added products. If you look at Europe, for example, more than 89% of the milk is consumed as value-added products, so which is more like they eat milk than drink milk. Whereas in India, it's still a milk drink market. People drink milk. More than 70% is liquid milk market. But we steadily see the value-added products go up. Value-added products by way of more paneer, more cheese, more ice creams, and whey proteins and curd and yogurt, and all of that is steadily going up. So that's another shift that we are seeing, more packaged sort of products. And thanks to COVID, people are still looking for better visibility into the supply chain, right? And when service providers like Akshakalpa sell their premium products to the consumers, we try to become the technology partner to ensure that their consumer-driven mandate is taken care of technologically. I will let Sashi add on. I think Sashi dropped off. So Sashi, the question was, how do you see the consumption pattern and the consumer side evolve, during pandemic, post-pandemic, and in general? What do you see from a demand point of view? I have given the technology view. You can maybe give the service provider view, Sashi.
Yeah, I think, thanks, Sanjit, for the prompt. I believe the premium milk segment is evolving, and the market needs to be created. But the market exists, but it needs to be created. And pre or post pandemic, I have not seen much of a difference in terms of demand. But as we need to keep creating market, I think the challenge remains, okay, how do we educate consumers? Okay, how do we educate farmers, okay, on a premium milk production, and consumers on what is the value which brings into consumers in terms of the quality of milk, okay, chilling infrastructure, antibiotic free. So what is the value they see? It's continued to be challenged, but this market can be created. Okay, that's what it is, I believe, in my view.
So yeah, that's great. So coming to, you talked about like dairy supply chain. So the question is like, there are certain inefficiency in our daily supply chain which possesses a mostly a health risk. Sir, how would you take to that? That is very big thing. Like they possesses a very like even in the COVID, when Fasai used to tell that consumption of milk doesn't cause COVID, he has to come with the guidelines that even if you wash your packets, so it will not even, for that also the supply chain also possesses a very health risk. So how would you take on that? How we can improve on that segment?
Yeah, Sashi, over to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are two parts. Okay, impact of COVID milk as a whole. As the COVID transmitted through food, okay, that is fine. The chain side, your question, on the supply chain side, the biggest challenge right now is how do we digitize, okay, the farm side business. So what they are feeding, how they are feeding, what time milking is happening, at what time chilling is happening, okay, how much antibiotics have been used, or have they used antibiotics or not, okay, as the milk has been chilled on a correct time or not. So, and how is the cow health, okay. So these are the various data elements which would, I believe, add a substantial value into anybody's supply chain. So therefore, for us, digitizing the entire backend, okay, has been a substantial value for us as well, because we could objectively measure. And also for farmers who are producing that milk, they can objectively measure their own performance. And these two objective measurements at our level and at farmer level actually add substantial value to consumers, okay, in terms of quality of milk, okay, and milk chilled at farm level, nutrition content remaining intact. So that is my take on so the entire supply chain, how a digitization of such supply chains adds value at various levels.
Yeah. So coming to the question, like, does Korean in today's world is relevant, or it's only in the books or the youth studies? Because last 2 year backs, when I met one minister named Hukum Chand, he was an agriculture minister of state. So he told us like that in an agriculture sector, the youth today wears jeans, pants, so they feel shy to go on a field or even on a dairy farm to work on it. So does Korean wanted to what he wanted to make that each and every cooperative should be built up in the society, that everyone should start, even youth should come up and start their own dairy farms or even in the agriculture. And he was also the king of the oil. He later worked on that. So do you feel that the Korean work was success is relevant in 21st century that today we are living?
Yeah, so Korean, they've done some really pioneering job, right? When they started, a significant portion of the market was very unorganized, right? Thanks to all the good work they've done, at least 25% of the market is organized, right? So it's a good starting point. What we need to do as entrepreneurs right now is to stand on his shoulders and build it and take it to the next level, right? They were mainly focusing on a quantitative sufficiency problem. We need to now solve for in kisanon ki आमदनी कैसे बढ़ाई जाए, because that was not a major focus when they started. They were focusing on organized, moving milk from unorganized to organized market. And that's where a combined efforts of akshaykalpa and stellapps comes in, wherein the focus is move to the next orbit, whatever platform that has been created by the pioneering work done by Dr. Korean and team. How do we use it as a basic platform, and look at how do you increase income levels of the farmers? How do you ensure that the youth that you mentioned, how do you make sure that things are technically driven so they feel it is like running any other enterprise? It should not be seen like an old-fashioned way of running a very unglamorous industry. It should be seen as a very technologically driven industry. So people should feel proud of owning a large farm, getting good enough income levels, using technology to drive the farm, right? Which I think is significantly more satisfying than maybe driving taxis in a city, right? So which is, and we're seeing that happen a lot in cases of service providers like akshaykalpa, who are providing that platform as a service provider. And it's our job to support them with the necessary technology so that they don't see it as a rote drudgery, right? Technology can take away the rote drudgery from the entire part, and service providers like akshaykalpa can provide super market linkages so that it's a significantly better option than driving taxis in the village, in the towns, right? So that's our view. We just need to build on the basic foundation that is built and take it to the next orbit, but not just continue to remain in that orbit. Shift people from that orbit to the next orbit. So that would be my take on that point.
Okay. So, sir, I have a question for Shashi, sir. Like what Food Safety and Standard Authority of India has stated, like in 2012 survey, they stated like 70% of the urban and 31% of the rural supply don't meet the standard of dairy milk. Since you are an organic certified milk, so how would you take on that? Like what big supply, like Sudha Dairy in Bihar, Mother Dairy in Delhi, Amul in Gujarat, like how organic milk would be better, or like how can this Pasai authority, which has pointed out, can be solved?
See, the adulteration milk, okay, is a big problem. There cannot be pinpointed to one issue. The overall supply chain is a lot of issues, starting from production, okay, at a farm level, okay, going up to the consumer. There are various stages where the adulteration or bad milk production would happen. But the way we should really understand this entire problem is, how do we produce a quality milk, okay, which every consumer, okay, can have access to? So I still go back to my earlier statement that organic milk production is all about data. For example, if you collect proper data at the farm level, and you would know how the milk is being produced.
I think sir would be facing some technical issue.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm back. So what
Yeah.
I was saying is, if you ask me what is organic milk, is it a better milk than regular milk available in the market? Yes, it is indeed. But why it is better? Because we are able to measure a lot of parameters, the entire supply chain. We are able to digitize and monetize the digitization. So this is what organic milk is all about. You can tell milk is free of antibiotics. You can tell milk is free of aflatoxin. You can tell milk was chilled within 2 hours, okay, after milking at the farm level. You can tell what time it was loaded to the tank, what was the temperature drop in a tank, and what time it arrived. So entire chain is managed end to end through digitization. So in my opinion, all the milk in the country can reach that standards if we can digitize entire supply chain. So that's what my take on what is organic milk, okay, and how it is organic. So we are able to measure and able to say what it is.
So did you face any technical problems in digitization of the milk, or the challenges or the hurdles in the days you were doing and coming to like in a successful?
So it is nothing like a, let me say, unsolvable challenge, but it takes time. So we need to really understand the right problems and put, okay, your effort, okay, and partnerships to solve those problems. As a service provider for us, we are not a technology company, but we would like to use technology to make our services, okay, are delivered seamlessly. There are challenges. For example, how do you manage the herd? Okay, we have been working with stellapps for probably close to 10 years now on the herd management systems, okay, and we fairly understand, okay, now that what are the challenges in managing the cows, okay, but the digitization and managing that is what, okay, is the key. So therefore, yes, there are hurdles, but they're not that they cannot be solved, okay. So over a period of 10 years, we have taken substantial challenges and solved them.
And the same question goes to Ranjit sir, like in the you are the service provider, so what challenges you face in to providing them the services within the 10-year of period?
Yeah, no, so this industry, as you know, is a pretty old-fashioned industry traditionally. People were only looking at moving milk from the, organized, into the unorganized into the organized sector. It was not a very data-driven kind of an industry, right? It was not an industry people thought could be automated at a small farmer level. And there will be a lot of adoption challenges when we begin with, because farmers are always going to be skeptical when you begin with, right? When all these hi-fi stuff like Internet of Things, herd management systems, and all that, is it really necessary, or is it good enough to run the farms like their grandfathers used to run, right? So it takes a lot of handholding, education, training. You need to pick the first mover farmers who are slightly more progressive than the others, and then others will follow. So there needs to be a little more patience. We may not be able to scale this enterprise at the same speed as urban-centric use case. It's a slightly rural facing, it's farmer facing. So there is that initial inertia that we need to surmount, and then things will start scaling rapidly. We believe we have done that initial hard work, both Akshakalpa and stellapps, making sure that the skepticism is removed. Now I think fairly well farmers do realize that technology can help, the income levels can go up, the operational teams do understand the benefit of doing this. So I think now it's for us to build on top of the momentum that we have built in the last 10 years. So there have been challenges, but I think we have surmounted them one at a time, and at a place where now things will start scaling up much more rapidly. It has already started, but we think we will continue to build on that momentum.
Yeah, and sir, you can tell like what is MovePay fintech cattle loan solution, how it is working and service providing. More enlighten on that.
Yeah, so the idea is that typically this industry, any of the payments used to happen in a very analog manner, right? People used to deal with cash. People were not transferring, converting milk into currency, digitally. And it's probably only one of the few industries where at the back end, farmers think digital payment is actually a downside because they have to walk up to the bank to withdraw the money and all of that, right? So what we have tried to do is, can we digitize the payments in such a way that whatever money is due to them goes to them directly, avoid all the middlemen in between, and make sure that it falls into their bank account. Number one. Number two, based on all the supply chain data that we get at the farm level, at the milk uh, quality level, can this data be used to help underwrite risk better so that the more progressive farmers get a better deal? Because typically in India, all farmers are looked at with in the same lens. That whereas not all farmers are the same. There are good farmers. There are farmers who follow the animal husbandry practices really good. There are farmers who have, like in Akshakalpa's case, 10 cows, 20 cows, 30 cows. So they need to be looked at differentially. So what we have tried to do is, use things like alternate the data that we get to help underwrite risk differently, provide differentiated products to the dairy farmers, right? There are farmers who are new to credit who may not have a prior bureau check, bureau score. How do you ensure that using our alternate credit score, which we internally call as MOO score, how can that MOO score be used to ensure that the farmers are able to quickly ramp up their herd size, are able to use the credit facilities to buy other products, cattle nutrition, and all of it? Because traditionally we have seen that the banks and MFIs and NBFCs, they're not able to provide credit at scale on a retail basis to these farmers. But with Akshakalpa type of a market linkages where the farmers' income levels have really gone up, they should be actually looked at as entrepreneurs or MSMEs. They should not be looked at as yet another farmer, right? And how do you make the data speak for itself, right? When Sashi or I speak to a bank, we might speak a lot of English saying that no, this farmer is an MSME, so we give him a better loan, better credit, better cattle nutrition. But how do you make the data speak for itself, right? So that's what technology has enabled, right? Riding on top of all the very superior service provider workflows that Akshakalpa has implemented, we deploy our tech stack on top of it, enable direct farmer payments, use the alternate credit data to build MOVE score, and ensure that the farmers get more access to better quality credit from the organized banks, right? So that's what we have done in this space.
Yeah. And sir, can to as we are today celebrating the World Milk Day also, so can you, any one of you can highlight the importance of milk, like why we should take milk consumption is important in our day-to-day life?
Yeah, I'll let Sashi take a stab. Yeah.
Sir, you are not audible.
You're
Unmute.
on mute, Sashi.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So milk, by definition, okay, is combination of protein and energy. It is the cheapest source of protein available to humankind in any form. Okay, so that's the primary importance of milk. So protein and energy is the cheapest available out there. Any other source of proteins is the most expensive. That's the first thing. That's the importance of milk, okay, to humankind. We have been, okay, taking milk from more than 5,000 years. And that's how we have evolved. Our entire body genetics have evolved to take milk, okay, and take protein from that, take energy from that. So that's the importance of milk. And the quality milk at that is utmost important, okay, in midst of some of the challenges we face, especially in countries like India, where quality of the milk is very poor.
Yeah. So, sir, can you tell me about like more like milk products or how, what sector or segments you deal in a milk? Like apart from a simple milk, like what are the other things, milk products you are providing to the people?
So right now, 95% of our business is liquid milk. So, and we are also doing small amount of cheeses, okay, some butter, ghee, paneer, okay, and curd. But most of our business is liquid milk right now.
And so This is a both question. Like in India, both of them, any can answer individually. Like in India, the network area you have been spread. Like which states in India you have covered, and even if coming to the abroad, are you covering the abroad also, or you're limited to like Swadeshi the things? So, any-
So right now we are India focused, right? So we do work with. We started down south because we were Bangalore based, but as we speak, we have our technology and operations running in about 22 states in India. We have deployed our people and technology in about 32,000 villages, but it's all been in India specific, right? Because since being a technology provider, we didn't have to sort of look at the consumer side, right, per se, which is a problem that a service provider like Akshay Kalpa would deal with. So I think Akshay Kalpa has been primarily focused on south, but we've been quite pan India as a technology provider.
so in a south, specifically, you are focusing Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, Kerala, or these also states you are working with.
So as a market, Akshay Kalpa right now focuses on two cities, Bangalore and Chennai. Okay, Stellapps as a technology service provider, they have spread across the country right now. I think they are available, their services are available almost throughout the country.
Okay. So what are the like future projects you are going to work on, Akshay Kalpa and your partners, stellapps? So in future, what do you see that the things you will be able to provide to the industry and to the farmers?
So one of the things that Akshay Kalpa and stellapps have just started discussing, in fact, we actually wanted to launch this on the National Milk Day, is to provide a traceability, component as a technology provider to the Akshay Kalpa milk. We call that internally as MUMARK, which is to provide a technology traceability, from to superior milk like Akshay Kalpa milk. So tomorrow you might actually buy an Akshay Kalpa milk in the market, and there will be a MUMARK QR code on it. And you scan that QR code, you'll actually see the traceability built back right through to the animal, right? You'll be able to see how an happy animal, which are the happy animals behind the scene that has contributed to this, milk. At least a cohort of happy animals that contributed to this milk. So we will, sometime soon make. Idea is to make a joint announcement and seeing how stellapps and Akshay Kalpa can collaborate to put out marked, superior quality organic milk in the markets that Akshay Kalpa is currently, operating on.
That's great. And anything Akshay Kalpa wants to introduce for something?
I think our primary focus remains, especially at the farm level, how do we increase the productivity? So right now, Akshay Kalpa across the herd averages is around 11 liters, okay, of milk production per cow per day. So over a period of time, we would like to really see how we can take it to 15 liters or 20 liters herd average. Probably it's going to be a 10 years journey. So that's what we are planning, especially on the farm side. Of course, on the market side, we are exploring various options, including how do you engage new generations, okay, with, let me say, milk-based on-the-go, okay, products. Okay, they can, let me say, eatable curd or eatable snack, okay, along with the curd or a milk. We are experimenting a lot, okay. Shortly, we're going to really launch them in cities of Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad.
Yeah. So coming to an end, like we discussed a lot on the Milk Day and today's Korean and the company. So I would just say that milk is yeah, necessary, right? It has become an important part in our day-to-day life, from starting the morning tea or a coffee, and then to the bedtime bed milk for some of them take, and even in the time of lunch we consume curd. So the dairy entrepreneurs like Akshay Akshay Kalpa and Steeplabs apps are working very good to empower and motivate them to grow. And thank you both of them, sir, to giving the time and talking to the audience in a way, explaining how you both are working together and uh, doing great for the nation. In and the new project, you will be also giving the new mark to the Akshay Kalpa. So that would be the great thing to see in the coming days.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
yeah. Thank you so much for the coverage and hosting us. I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. नमस्कार
Yeah.
सर, फिर
Namaskar, sir.
मुलाकात
Thank you.
होगी
Full
आपसे
mulaqat,
किसी
sir.
और
Thank you.
विषय के साथ।
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Namaskar.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.